Here.
Yes, perfectly visible.
Great. So, as Samar said, thank you very much. And my name is Parin Shah. I'm associated with universities across the world for last 20 odd years, and have helped thousands of students with counseling, process of admission, visas, and many other things uh, in last 20-25 years. Uh, so I'm going to help you with what is foreign education, what is study abroad. So the first question is why study abroad? Why people go to study abroad? So it's not just about education. I believe is there are a lot of other things involved along with education. So the first thing I believe is international exposure. You get a lot of exposure. You've got about 100, 150, 200 different nationalities who come and study with you. They bring in a lot of different perspectives. It's a global market, global exposure you get. So that's something very, very big. You get to interact with a lot of nationalities across the world. And again, you build global networks. So I remember that when I was studying abroad, when I was doing my MBA, I have a lot of friends across the world, and if there is something which I need, I straight away ping them. I have a friend in Malaysia, and I was pinging him a few days back about one of the requirements that a friend wanted from Malaysia, and he straight away came up with the idea, and now they are connected. So a lot of these things happen. I have friends, I studied in Australia, I have friends in Australia, and I ping them for a lot of requirements as well. So that's something which is very, very important. When I studied in Australia, I had friends from across the world, Europe, America, Canada, a lot of places across the world. So that's something very, very important. uh, you get access to advanced systems, so you get access to advanced machinery, advanced softwares, advanced computers, advanced learning machineries, magazines, e-commerce, to a lot of things, e-learning, a lot of things, which is something very, very important. I don't say that that's not available in India. It has started becoming available in India as well, but not to that extent. I mean, we are getting there. We are absolutely getting there, but this is far more advanced, I believe. There's a lot of self-development because you are on your own. There is no one around to help you. You start doing things on your own. You learn things on your own. Your finances, your way of doing things. You have to maintain your house. You have to maintain your finances on your own. You have to work along with your studies. So those are certain things which are very, very important. And at the end of those 2 3 4 years, it will make you self-reliant, self-sufficient, and you will be able to do things on your own. So that's something very, very important. You're staying away from your family, you are staying away from your house. You're only connected through either phones or WhatsApp and things like that. There's no one who's going to really help you with these things. So you become self-reliant. I think that's something very, very important. Work while you learn. It typically doesn't happen, when you are studying in India or when you are studying in Ahmedabad or your hometown. You're covered with your families and friends and social environment. While when you're studying abroad, you basically work about 20 hours a week. And that's something very, very important. That culture is developed straight away. Flexibility in subject selection. What I've seen is when you go and study abroad, there are people who've been able to combine science with commerce, science with arts, engineering with management. So a lot of combination is available. So the education abroad is very flexible. It has a lot of combination of things that you can study. A very practical approach as well. At times, while you are studying, you are doing internships, working with the industry. So a lot of these things when you do this. So a flexibility in terms of your education is something very, very important. Last but not the least, about 60, 70, 80% of students, when they come and talk to us, the first question is, am I eligible to migrate? Will I be able to stay back, work for some time, or migrate permanently? Yes, the major 4 countries that Indian students go to, they are able to migrate either temporary or permanent work there. That includes Australia, UK, US, and UK, US, and Canada. I'm sure you guys know, I'll share the screen, but about 95% of students going abroad from India, they go to these countries, which is US, UK, Australia, and Canada at this point of time. So that's something very, very important. The I think the important thing to parents. This is something very important to parents. A lot of parents come to us and they ask, what is the most decisive factor uh, while considering your is the study abroad. So there are two kind of students who come to us. One is the ones who finish their 12th standard. Parents want to send their kids immediately after 12th standard, or the ones, about 60, 65, 70% of the kids who finish their undergrad here and then they want to do their masters abroad. So there are two or three major decisive factors parents will have to understand and consider. One is the finances. You're looking at anything between 7-8 lakh rupees a year to about 15 to 20 lakh rupees a year. That includes tuition fees and living expense. It goes up to about 25 lakh if it is US. So the first and the most important thing is finance. The number of years, if it is undergraduate, is anything between 3 to 4 years in these countries. If it is postgraduate, it is anything between 1 to 2 years. So you are looking at anything between 10 lakh rupees to about 25 lakh rupees a year, right, into number of years. So if you are going for undergrad, it is 3 or 4 years in US or Canada, and if it is postgraduate course, it is 1 or 2 years of masters. So this is something very, very important. The second and the most important thing is maturity of your kid. So if you think that your kid is mature enough to handle all the factors that I've told you in my first slide, you should send him. Apart from that, the other important factor is, that when these good things come, there are certain bad things in Western culture as well, as you all know. The nightclubs and company that you enjoy, and then open environment and such other things, and the cost as well. If you think that your kids are able to manage, will be able to manage their finance, will be able to manage their selves, they'll be able to control themselves, that you should send them abroad. If not, it's best to keep them with you, because we've seen some students who are going out of way, and they've enjoyed themselves as well there. But then apart from that, if you have good trust in your kids, things are quite easy there. So these are two things which you need to consider. uh, Education background is also something very, very important. If you are looking at a good education, good university abroad, you're looking at good 65, 70, 75%. That, and apart from that, you should have cracked your English, you should have cracked your GMAT, GRE, or SAT. Though, I mean, it is a myth that GMAT, GRE, and SAT is must, but that's not the case anymore in any country now. Even a lot of US universities have started accepting students without GRE, GMAT, and SAT. And then these are good state universities who started accepting that. Well, English is compulsory, so you need to either give your TOEFL, the PTE, or IELTS exam. These are typical English exams which you need to give while you study abroad, while you apply for your admission. So this is something very, very important. And these are the decisive factors. So first I said was finance. Second is trust level in your kids, and the third and the most important thing is the entry requirement. So the entry requirement in terms of your academics and English requirement. So these are the things required. Uh, I think a lot of these kids, when they come, parents, they want to know about the demographics of these countries. So as I said, uh, the biggest countries these students go to are US, UK, Canada, or Australia. I've given a little bit of comparison to these things here. The first is, population of US mentioned here is about 32 crores. Australia is 2.5, Canada is 3.6, 3.76, and UK is 6.6. So a lot of them compare what is the population vis-a-vis to probably opportunities available there. Then, probably the land area in terms of the square kilometers, which is given here. Uh, Then number of institutes. So US has about 5,300 universities, which includes public and private universities and some community colleges. Australia has about 43 private universities, and then there are some community colleges in Australia as well, but not a lot of international students out of India go to these, but mostly they go to these 43 private universities. Canada has about 285 universities and institutions, and UK has about 150 institutions which are there. The number of Indian students, I think that is something very, very important. The number of Indian students who went to US in 2019 is about 2 lakh Indian students went to US in 2019. About 107,000, so 1 lakh 7,000 students approximately went to Australia. 139,000 students, so 1 lakh 39,000 students approximately went to Canada, and about 21,000 students went to UK in 2019. So this is just to make you understand about what are the kind of number of students who go out of India to study abroad. My understanding is about 5.5 lakh students every year go to study abroad, but there's no exact figure. But this is a rough estimate. While the recent questions for last 1.5 months is what is the COVID situation? I think this is the most important situation which people have been talking about. So the COVID situation at this point of time, as you all know, and a lot of parents when they come to us in last probably 1.5 months, they are all talking about these things. So a COVID situation at this point of time in US is about 22 lakh plus cases. Australia is about 7,000 plus cases. Canada is about 100,000 or 1 lakh cases, and UK is about 3 lakh cases. So this is something very, very important. And through this table, you will understand that what is the healthcare system in these countries. More or less, Australia is able to contain the virus very well, though it's very early because every country in the world is expecting second wave any point of time. Maybe Australia is far away. It is not connected with land with any other country, and they have a lot of restrictions on international travel. That could be the reason. But overall, Australia and Canada, they have been able to contain it very well. While I am talking to these demographics, it is also important for all of you to understand that current situation for study abroad and probably with local institutions is very, very gloom, in the sense that the borders across the world in these countries are closed. They are not letting any new students to come in. Even those students who've come back in the month of March from these countries are not able to go inside those countries. So the first, when they open borders, they will invite the current present students who've already got visas. They will invite them to come in. I'm expecting that in next 3 to 4 months, depending on how Indian situation goes, they will open borders. So in 3 to 4 months, embassies in India are expected to open. VFS office, which are the visa facilitation centers, service centers who take visa applications for these students, will start opening. And it is expected that sometime in November, December, or January, they will start accepting visa application. And I'm looking at about January, February next year, which is 2021, where they will start inviting new students. So anyone who's looking at going abroad, your 6 months you will be sitting in India, and you will be preparing either for preparatory courses like whether it is IELTS, GRE, GMAT, SAT, or TOEFL or PTE, right? You will be doing that. A lot of these universities across the world have started doing online education as well. I'm actually not a big believer of online education, to be honest to you, because you are paying same fees and you are studying online. Well, please remember the first slide, that education online, education on campus has a lot of different perspective compared to online education. So if you are paying $15,000, or probably let's say about 6-7 lakh rupees of fees per year, per semester, you will be spending online and doing those things. Instead, I would say that wait for about 3, 4, 5 months, join the next semester, which is on campus semester. So as I mentioned, the on campus semester is going to be sometime in January, February. So this is the COVID situation in the world as of now. All the countries are looking at India very, very carefully. They are expecting Indian COVID situation to flatten sooner, and then they will start their visa offices here. So this is something very, very important. Now the other question in students and parents' mind is that what is the fees that you have to pay when you go and study abroad. So uh, as mentioned here, this is the approximate fees you pay when you study there. So the first flag is UK's flag, where you're expected to spend anything between 9 to 15 lakh rupees a year. Canada is anything between 7 to 20 lakh rupees a year, depending on what kind of institution you go and study. So there are community colleges, there are private colleges, and there are universities in all these countries. Australia, you're looking at about 13 lakh to 20 lakh rupees of fees and living expense. And then US is anything starting from 20 lakh to 40 lakh rupees. Cost of living per year, as mentioned here, is if it is UK, about 10 lakh, because pound is about 95 to 100 rupees. If it is Canada, about 6 to 8 lakh rupees. If it is Australia, 6 to 8 lakh rupees. If it is US, you're looking at about 10 to 14 lakh rupees. Cost of living differs in terms of where you stay. So whether you are living on campus, whether you are sharing your room with your friends, whether you are living in the homestay. So a lot of these combinations are dependent, are basically uh, are considered while you estimate the cost of living. Uh, you as a student are allowed to work part time when you study in these countries. So when you study and you hefty bit of money when you are studying abroad, when you are sorry working abroad. So from UK, they have a range of about £6 per hour you can earn. If it is Australia, it is about 16 to 18 per hour. Canada is about 10 per hour, and US is about 12 to 13 per hour. And more or less, you're allowed to work about 20 hours per week, which I believe is manageable. If you are a decent bright student, you are able to manage 20 hours of work per week, and about 30 to 50 hours of education which you need to give for your education, about 30 to 50 hours. So this is something very, very important. Post study work, a lot of people would like to spend this kind of money, but they feel this more as an investment. So what they believe is, sir, I'm happy to study, I'm happy to spend this kind of money, but what about earning after studying there? A lot of these countries allow you to stay back. So the major attraction and advantage is that they have post study work visas available. So when you go to UK, the proposed, I mean, it's not confirmed as of now, but proposed 2 to 4 years, so about 3 years of proposed work after study visa is available. If it is Canada, it is 3 years. If it is Australia, it is 2 to 4 years. And then if it is US, you have OPT available there, which is anything between 1.5 years to about 5 years of OPT available in US. And then a lot of these countries have migration opportunities as well. So migration opportunity includes uh, uh, whether you are allowed to apply for permanent residency and you can live there permanently or not. UK at this point of time is not clear. If you see the population of UK is about 6.66 crores, while the area is very, very small, right? So UK is not very clear, but apart from that, Canada, Australia, and US. Canada, you can straight away apply for migration, which is PR. Australia, you can apply for migration, which is PR. And if it is US, as you all know, then you go and work on H1, and then after H1, you can apply for green card. So there is a process of approximately anything between 7 to 10 years where you can permanently settle in US, but which is quite possible. So this is something very, very important. I was talking about online studies. So what I've been saying in the month of July, the ones who've not been able to go to Australia, UK, US, Canada in the month of July, August, and September, a lot of them are studying online. So this is one of the option, and this does not require a visa. You straight away apply for admission if you fulfill you get an admission and you start your studies online. And you get to start anything between 1 to 4 subjects. So even if you want to take a smaller load of one subject to start with, you can do that. So online study with a lot of these universities who have great infrastructure, it is very similar to what we are doing right now, but quite different when it comes to online abroad, because they have a lot of videos, they have a lot of interaction, they have a lot of assignments online as well, they have presentations online as well. So a lot of these things happen in online education. And some of the benefits that I feel for online education is it's a flexible education. You're sitting at your home, you're sitting on your probably in your bedroom, and you can do that. It's a very comfortable environment. You can walk around and learn and things like that. You save on cost of living. So if you are finishing your 3 or 4 subjects online, you basically do not go and repeat those subjects there. So you probably cut down your 6 months here, and then you save your living costs. It's a positive profile, because if you've started, let's say for Australia, you've started an online education of MBA, you've done your 4 subjects, you have a much better profile in terms of visa when you compare that with a fresh application. So this is what we feel, and this is what we've been told by a lot of countries and embassies and universities as well. You get full credit to on-campus studies. So when you do 3 or 4 subjects here, you get a complete credit, and you don't have to study those subjects there. So that's something very important to understand, while looking at online education. So something I wanted to discuss here. I think I've covered. There are a lot of perspective to foreign education. It includes you coming face to face with us, and we can give you a lot of brochures. We give you a lot of reference material. We also give you a lot of feedback in terms of individual cases. We've got a huge database where you can interact with those students. There are a lot of groups online. For example, if you want to study in Australia, there are Study in Australia Facebook groups, Insta groups, the YouTube groups, where you can go and speak to them about any questions you have. So a lot of these things happen. But come and meet me or any of us online in office. We give you a lot of study material. We give you a lot of experience. We share a lot of experience as well. You also have there are also universities who come. I mean, this will not happen during COVID, but a lot of universities come on our offices, and they do a lot of presentations. They meet parents, they meet parents, students, and they give a lot of one-on-one information as well. So this will certainly help you when you start your counseling with counselors like us. There are a lot of other good counselors across the city, across India. So a lot of these things will help you. I think that's about it from my side. If you have any questions, Samad, if you have any questions, if you have posted any questions, happy to take.
Thank you so much, sir, first of all, for this wonderful talk and presentation and analysis on all the countries. There are a few questions. First is from Shreyans Mehta. He is asking, are there any online courses for undergrads or entrepreneurs, and where can we find the list from? So you just talked about online courses.
So Shreyans, right?
Yes.
So Shreyans, yes, there are a lot of universities who give entrepreneurship online courses, but the important thing is that whether you decided to go and study abroad or not, right? So if you are looking at further in 6 months' time to relocate on campus, you should be looking at these online courses, right? Because online courses, as I mentioned, are very expensive. So this is the first step for on-campus course. Because of the COVID situation, the borders are closed, right? So if you really want to study abroad, right, you should be looking at abroad university online courses. There could be some local courses as well. I was looking at EDI, which is Entrepreneurship Development Institute, and they are right now closed. They don't have any online courses at this point of time as well, right? So, but I'm sure there are a lot of other online courses available. So you should look for any Indian course. But if you are looking at study abroad, please come and meet us. We are happy to help you with any online courses at any point of time.
Okay. Sir, another question is, I'm He's asking, I am a commerce student. Are there any courses available for journalism? As
Journalism, yes, there
yes,
are many
in
courses
bachelor's in journalism. Yes.
undergraduate journalism courses, lot of courses across the world, journalism courses, and then very good courses with very good opportunities as well, right? So yes, all courses across countries across the world have journalism courses.
Yes.
So
Another question.
journalism includes
Yes.
communication, mass
Correct.
media, arts and journalism. A lot of combination across the world are available.
Okay. And which is a better country for journalism? Is the question from Sim.
While look, uh, to be honest to you, there is no good or bad country, right? You have to look at the demographics. You have to look at what is available to you, what attracts you at the end of the day, what is best for you, right? And then come and speak to counselors are like us, who can give you one-to-one counseling in terms of your requirements. Where are your contacts? What is your end motive? What is your capacity? These all things can be questioned, and then we can give you answers.
Sir, there's one question is what is the right time to start with foreign education after 10th, 12th or graduation? And
Okay.
secondary, the same question is if we choose CBSE from rather than ICSE or IB, does that make a difference in this?
Certainly not. IB and IGCSE, these are very new curriculum. And then students have been going abroad for last 30, 35 years with CBSE or state boards as well. So absolutely not. The difference between IB and any other state board is IB is more practical and more project and assignment oriented based curriculum, right? So if you've studied IB and then you go abroad, you can mix into their curriculum much easier. Does not mean that CBSE and state boards can't. They've been grilled much better compared to IB students, so they are more academic and they can do it very well as well. So IB and then all the curriculum are very similar. There's no way you will not be able to do it, right? So that's fine. That's not an issue, right? I think the question before was
It was what is the right time to start foreign education after 10th, 12th or graduation?
uh, see, if I look at my son, right, I'll probably look at how comfortable he is with environment outside, whether he'll be able to handle himself. I'll give you a small example of my son who's just finished his 12th standard. Whether he's matured enough to handle things outside or not is a bigger question to yourself as parents, right? So if you believe that yes, he'll be able to handle himself well, right? I'm capable of spending those kind of money for 3 or 4 years. Definitely undergraduation. The reason being that they have much better infrastructure outside. Uh, Anyone who's looking at doing undergrad here will have to go and do masters. Question yourself, why masters immediately after undergrad? Because a lot of time I believe that we when we do our bachelors here, right, we are not straight away employable, and that is one of the reason students are looking at a further degree, which is masters, which is their option is only master's degree, right? So I believe that our undergraduate, most of the time, if you are doing for IITs or IIS or IIMs, these are different things altogether. But when you are doing a B rank university institution, most of us are not employable, right? That is where going in a business is a different thing. When you have to start a corporate career, right? We are most of the time not employable, and that is where students go and do their masters abroad. If you are capable, send your kids for undergrad, right? That is the right way to do that.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. There's one question from Devan. He's asking what are the internship opportunities abroad and in which country has better internship opportunities?
So last 3, 4, 5 years, what has happened is internship has become mandatory in all the universities across the world. So this is a very good question, and most of the students who come to us, they talk about internships, right? Most of these universities have embedded internship in their curriculum. So this could be either year 2 or year 3, or it could be after year 3 for a year, but most of these courses have internship embedded in that. So it's a good question. A lot of these good universities have internships embedded in that. So they make you study. They make you study. They make you work with local industries, government partners. They partner with government for projects. So this is where you intern yourself, and these internships are mostly unpaid. At times they are paid as well. So that's how it goes.
Okay, thank you so much. And one last question is about how what are the options for scholarships for an institution?
Okay. Yes, very good question. Sorry, I did not cover that. Based on your academics, so anything, if you have anything between 80-85%, there are universities who give up to 25, 30, 35, 50% scholarship, but this is based on your marks. And then at times for high scholarships, you have personal interviews you might have to write essays as well, you might have to write fill certain forms, and then you are in pool of scholarship aspirants. If you are looking at about 50% scholarship, but if you are looking at about and a lot of these universities have they call it bursaries now. So if you have anything between 65-70%, you get anything between 20-25% scholarship. And 20-25% scholarship is very, very common. When you meet your counselor, please push for scholarship, because all these universities across the world, they give scholarship, right? So scholarships are available, and especially with COVID time, international education is suffering as well. Scholarship is very, very common.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. We have just one more question which came right now. So Bianca's question is, what is your take on the recent H-1B visa news?
Okay, so as we all know that Trump keeps coming in and out of these situations. H-1B, I believe, is very, very difficult, because their IT sector and their economy needs to survive as well. And then H-1B is the cheapest and the best and the most intellect source of getting professionals inside US. But it all depends on next 3 months, if the US economy is going down, if there are hardly any jobs available, if the economy has shrunk, you can't know. You won't know. But I think for them to grow in a longer run, H-1B is absolutely necessary. No way, they can absolutely stop that.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable time and knowledge.